Hey everybody, Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. We're up in the pattern shop today. We're gonna be here for a while. Finally got some work in here. I actually got a purchase order for I think 3. It's one purchase order, but there's 3 patterns, smaller patterns, and a repair job for the same company in that. So I got to get these things done. I actually got the purchase order last week. I've yet to start on it. Just as usual, have had so much stuff going here, so I gotta get these things going. I'll try to get the camera on as much as I can. I promised last time we were up at the foundry that I'd get you up. I made some molds. I was gonna bring the camera back, show you we pouring them and things like that, and just through a bunch of different, I miss Joe, Joe missed me, things like that. I never got the camera back and that. So anyhow, we poured the brass Y pipes. So here, basically here they are, okay, and a little over 200 of them here. I ground them, and then I took them up to my buddy's foundry, one little foundry I go to a lot, and he put them in his rotoblaster for me, blasting them up. So what I did was, the customer also asked, I was just going to sell him the castings, and he's running out of time to get some of these done. He's got to get some of these done. He's got to drill them. So we put a 1/4-inch hole through the length, and then we got to do the Y. I started doing some of these. I got to do the Y. What you do is you do all one process, and then I'll start doing the Y's after that. But what I did, I machined a dozen of them just to get like a little time, see how long it took me, and then I had to buy some drill bits and that. So we'll take the drill press or the drill bit price, and how long it took me. I gave him price, so it was a little bit more expensive than what he wanted, but not bad. He asked if I drop the price a little bit, and the amount that we got to do these, it was fine for me to, I'll make up stuff with the volumes. So he basically told me to keep making these until, he tells me to stop. So that's going to be good for me. I gave him the true Y pipe also. We made a couple of those samples, gave him that, and he's got to check it with the original piece. I had given him the original piece back that I had made the pattern off of, but he wants to check my casting, make sure it's close and that. I'm not sure. I gave him a price and drilling the holes in that one too. We'll see where that goes. This is going to keep me busy for quite a while. So I like right now, that's the nature of this business, pattern and casting business. It's feast or famine, literally. You either have so much work you can't keep up with it, or you're just dying, So right now I'm feasting, and it's unusual really this time of year. Usually November, December, things start slowing down because people's budgets are all ran out. They're waiting for the new year to start to get budgets going again to see if they can start new projects and that. But we're doing it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm gonna do these. Like I said, I wanna try to keep you guys going pattern work wise and woodworking before I really get into showing you machining in that. And we'll do some here and there. I'm just drilling holes. Not that bad. I gotta make a little fixture for this. We'll get there. I gotta get these patterns going. So what we'll do is we'll concentrate on the patterns. I'll film as much as I can, but like I said, I'm a week behind already, so I got to get going on these things. I'll try to film as much as I can. So one of the patterns I'm working on, it's nice a lot of times if you can get a drawing plus a casting, it's awesome. So this is it's a bronze casting. And I gotta make this, okay, we gotta replicate that. So I got the drawing, drawing plus the casting, okay. So I started laying it out. I'm going to finish laying it out. You guys seen me lay things out. We will do more layup. Like I said, I got to get going with this one. I'll show you more building it. So what I decided with this, like I said, we'll just keep on going over and over things. What's happening with that particular pattern, we're going to put one on a plywood match plate, okay? So the he needs a few dozen of them. So this is what's going to determine what I'm going to make it out of, how I'm going to make it, and you know, what processes I'm going to go through, okay? So it's got to be a pretty sturdy pattern. So I decided with this one, it's not that big. I probably could make it out of pine, it would be fine, but I'm going to go ahead and make this particular one out of mahogany, okay? Then I got to make another one similar to this. That one's a bronze. It's going to be bronze, so we're going to use 3/16 shrink rule with that. The other one I am going to do too, I'll show you that one as we're making it. That one's going to be 2 on a match plate. So like I said in the past, instead of making 2 separate patterns, what we'll do is we'll make a master, and I'm going to make it out of pine, because we're just going to use it once, and then we'll make 2 urethane patterns off of the mold off of that master and mount and get them on a plywood match plate, okay? So I probably could, this particular pattern, it's simple enough where I probably could just go ahead and whack 2 wooden patterns up really quick, and they'll be close enough to each other. It should be good, but I think we're going to do, like I said, my mahogany's getting low, so I would have to do those out of mahogany. So I'd rather just go ahead and do the pine. I picked up some repro the other day, so we'll have plenty of repro there. So the other one, it's pattern on a match plate already. It's already built, but I got to do some repair to it, and the core boxes are gone. So I'll show you how to build the core boxes for that off of there. So I actually have the drawing plus the pattern on that, so that's going to help a lot. With that one too, we'll go over it when we get going. That one, it's going to be aluminum. All right, so that's 3/16 also, like brass and bronze is 3/16 shrink. The aluminums are 3/16. However, if you get, it's right here. All right, so if you get, this is the pattern, okay, and this guy uses, he's using yellow for his core prints, okay. I usually use black. They got gray and yellow here. So anyhow, if you remember, when I build these core boxes, when I measure the core sticks, you measure them to what these are, okay. I still use a shrink rule, but it's going to be exactly, so you don't measure this with a standard rule and add shrink to it, okay, because that'll be too big. So these, they have to be made with a standard rule, or you can use your shrink rule, but it's got to be the exact measurement, okay. So, and then the interior, you kind of got to watch, because this is what it is. So when you're measuring off, we got the drawing for it too, so we're gonna have to watch on that. So that's that one. Like I said, I'll show you when we get into this one. I'm going to start on this bronze arm. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I showed you guys how to lay stuff out. I'm just going to finish this layout real quick. It's probably not going to be real quick, but I'm going to finish this layout, and then I'll start to build the pattern, and I'll show you some of the steps I'm going to go through for starting to go on this pattern here. Okay, I'll try to get as much as I can. Like I said, I gotta kind of move a little bit. And there's another thing here too. Again, we just got super clustered in here. It's ungodly filthy in here again. So I got a bunch of castings that I've been working on, sample castings for companies. I got castings everywhere. I got my foundry stuff everywhere. We just got everything. I got a bunch of masters around the core. I got everything around here. So one of the customers that I'm going to do those hand wheels for, he actually, I don't think I did a tape on this one yet, but anyhow, I got an order for 300 of the hand wheels, 300 of the aluminum hand wheels. Let me go grab one of those hands. Alright, so anyhow, I got an order for 300 of these hand wheels. Yeah, that's 2 on, so I gotta make 150 molds. Alright, so hopefully that new molding machine will help me get going on these. But what happened was, gave these guys a price, and then the one guy's like, hey, how, if I supplied the aluminum for you, how much would you charge? So I adjusted the price on that, and like a week or 2 after I talked to him, I made arrangements to go pick up some aluminum. So I figured he's going to give me a couple boxes or a couple 5-gallon pails full of aluminum or something. But they have a machine shop in that, and they actually machine parts out of like 2.5-inch diameter aluminum bar. So I mean, they got aluminum bar all over the place, and then when they have the offcuts on the end, they just chuck in a 55-gallon drum. He gave me 2 55-gallon drums full of aluminum, so I got that hanging around here, and I don't have any storage, so can't take it down to foundry because it's just too clustered down there too. So anyhow, enough of rambling. We're gonna get to making some sawdust today. All right, and I'm not exactly sure how this is gonna go. It's Saturday, it's already 2 o'clock, got a late start. I had to do some stuff for Mama this morning, so getting a little bit of a late start. I'll probably work on this for a couple days and film it, and then we'll try to get a video out. I'll try to get as much done on it in that. So, like I said, we'll lay this out, and we'll get going on it and start making some sauce. All right, hang tight, guys. Okay, guys. We're going to get started on this. I got this thing laid out. Like I said, you guys see me lay stuff out. I will show you other things. I'm in a little bit of a hurry with this. I keep on going back and forth. It's kind of hard for me to, like I say, I ramble in that, and a lot of times I get too detailed into what I'm trying to explain. A lot of times you have to, because like I said, it's a hard trade. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to learn. So it's kind of hard to, where to cut it off, where not to, okay? So I'm doing this to teach you guys. So for me to just start making pieces and oh, here I made this like this, I gotta start showing you how to make the pieces, I guess. So I'll try not to make things too boring all the time as that, but what the next step is, I got it laid out, okay? So I kind of, before you lay out, you gotta start determining how you're gonna build it also, but while you're laying it out, things start coming about where, oh, we could do it this way, this way, this way, this way, okay? So another thing, like I said, not a huge tree hugger. I'm a woodworker. We do want to conserve as much wood as we can. So my next determination is to see how I'm going to go ahead and start building this. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and do it with mahogany. I'm running low on mahogany, okay? So one of the things we could do, this is kind of like what the basic shape what we're making, okay? So what I could do is split in half. This is the top view, okay? So split in half, the parting is going to be, this is supposed to go up. I'm not going to do 2 views, and then the parting line will be halvesy. This thing will split. It's symmetrical, so we can do it half and half, okay? So it's 3/4 of an inch. This main rib here is the hazy point of the parting line, okay? And then this is a boss here, it's gonna be sticking up. There's actually, I'm missing a line here. There's actually, this is a round boss here also. Okay, it should look like that, okay? So basically we're gonna build off of this surface here. All right, so I'm gonna get this surface, and then we'll add this boss will stick up, this boss will stick up, this is horizontal. All right, and then we gotta stick the ribs on top of it. Okay, so there's a couple different ways I could go about doing it. So this main body is 3/4 of an inch thick. So halvesy is going to be 3/8 and 3/8. Now, tradition, here's another thing I'm going to throw into the mix too, okay? On my own shop, I haven't got together with the foundry guy. I know what foundry this is going to. Sometimes the guy might want you to just put a whole 3/4, put a boss on top, build this, just make this body the whole 3/4, and then on the drag side or the cope side would be the other side. Just put a boss, and some ribs. That would be like, that'd be difficult for me to build it like that. So I'm going to go with the traditional way that we usually do it. Just do it half and half cope, half drag. Okay, so it's 3/4. We got to get 3/8. So there's a couple different ways you could do this. Like I said, I don't, and I won't ever, unless it's something for myself or my customer asks for it, I will never make anything out of plywood, okay? So, I mean, you could take, if you're doing something like this for yourself, get a piece of 3/8 plywood and start from there, go from there. But like I said, this is for a customer. It's unacceptable in most customers' eyes, okay? So I got this piece of 1 inch. We're going to split it in half, run it through the planer, and get it going, okay? So one of the things is like I always tell you also, is that we're going to leave it a bit oversized, okay? We're going to leave it a bit over 3/8 of an inch. I can't get it perfect through the planer. I'll explain things down the road why you can't. You can, but with the piece of wood I have right now, I cannot. Okay, so we're going to rip it in half, cut it down to a little heavier than 3/8, and the reason I'm going to do that also, 2 ways to build this, okay? So what I can do is, this board is big enough where I can fit the whole pattern is a little bit smaller than this board, so I could cut it directly in half, run it through the planer, get 3/8, just lay out the outside shape, right? Put my bosses on, build it, and I'm done, okay? But here's the things you run into with this. This is where I'm going to, it's like I said, there's 101 different ways you can do things all the time. So what happens is, if I do it that way, okay, I got the grain running this way, okay? All right, grain's running that way. So what'll happen is, when I cut this piece out here and this piece out up here, I got short grain, so that's going to have a tendency to break, okay? Well, yeah, no, I got a rib here, I got a boss, you know, this is rib, boss, ribs coming down here. I always use plastic fillets, like I said. More than likely, I could probably just go ahead and do it like that. Just cut it out of one big piece, and it would be faster that way, okay? I could do it way faster. It'll be strong enough, plus it's going on a match plate, right? So it's not, you know, it's not going to be bending and warping, okay? So it would be faster to do that. However, getting to the tree hugger thing here, here's my board. Okay, I lay it out on there. I got all this here that's scrap, all this here that's scrap, and that's a lot. So yeah, I could go ahead and use it. Like I said, I always use smaller pieces for train parts and that, and I'm sure down the road I could put these pieces in a box and I'll use them down the road for something else. But it's what I'm going to do instead. And I'll start showing you how to do this. And this is another thing. It'll show you a different way to do things, especially if you're just getting started out too, and you don't have the resources to buy a lot of wood. Okay, so the way I'm going to do it, it'll take less wood. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me get a rag here, guys, and get this. Oh, it's funny, this doesn't work well with fingers here. Alright, so let's erase all this stuff here. Alright, so what I'm going to do, just to show you guys, and like I said, you'll use less wood this way. Technically, it'll be stronger, okay? So, let me get rid of my wood grain here too. It's kind of mumble jumble. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of wood out. I'm going to get my 3/8 stock. Okay, it's going to be 3/8 thick. Okay, and then I'm going to leave it a little heavier for this way. Okay, if I were to do it like I was just saying, we could just lay it out on one big piece, cut it out. I would get it down to the 3/8 thickness and we're good. Okay, so I'm going to leave it heavy, about a 32nd, maybe a 16, probably about a 32nd. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is we get a piece of wood that's going to be about this big here. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, I hope you're going to be able to see, I could probably use a different color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an angle here, all right, and then I'm going to put a piece of wood up here with the grain going that way, okay, and then the grain here is going to go this way. Same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of wood there, that way the grain's running this way, okay. So I'll have a glue joint here, glue joint there, and they're strong. Like I said, a lot of glue joints. I have glued things up and, you know, throwing them on the floor. The wood's gonna break before the glue joint if you do them correctly. All right, so that way we got the grain running the right way. All right, so that'll help that way. The other reason we're gonna do it this way too, like I said, is because I'm kind of running low on wood, so I don't want to waste a bunch of wood here. I'll get set up to start working on it. What I'm going to do, like I said, we got a late start as usual. It's like Saturday, so I think my wife and I are going to go out later. So what we'll probably do is I'll make a little bit of a series out of this. I think really, you guys, I want to start teaching, okay? So like if I just do stuff and show you, that's not teaching how to do things, all right? So I'll try to, you know, teach you every little piece I can. I'll get ready to go on this. What I'll do is, I'm kind of thinking, it's got glue up over it. Yeah, I'd leave this overnight. So what I'll try to do is I'll start maybe making a little bit of, like we'll do a little series with this, okay, because it's going to take a little bit. And like I said, I'll try to get as much in as I can, but it's going to be hard because like I said, I got to start getting this stuff done, but I'll try to do as much as I can. You know, tomorrow's Sunday too, is Foundry Day, but my grandson Max getting baptized, so it's gonna kind of crap up the day tomorrow. So I mean, it's a good thing to be crapped up over. But it just I won't get anything done tomorrow, and then Monday I gotta take my mom to doctor's appointments pretty much all day. So it's the life of me. So I'll try to make a little bit of series with this, try to show you as much woodworking, as much pattern making as we can get, and then. Every time we get up to the foundries, I'll get you up there too, okay? So let me get this, you guys don't know, you don't need to see how it goes through the planer, and you've seen that, so I'll get that. Oh, I digressed again too. So the reason with this too, I'm gonna start out with stock about 32nd thicker, is because after this is glued up, just in case something moves when I'm gluing it up, what I'll do is glue it up, let it sit for a little bit. We'll take it on the sander, sand the whole face of it, and then we'll take it over to the drill press and run it underneath there. Make sure that it's, you know, perfectly 3/8 and it's perfectly parallel over. Because, like I said, if I glue the three pieces together and I'm off with that a little bit, it's not going to be any good. So that's why we're going to do it that way, okay? And still, you know, to this day, Charlie, he hasn't finished machining all those one things. I'm kind of waiting for that. So yeah, everybody's busy. So it's we'll get those. But let me get set up and I'll show you what, how I'm gonna glue this up, and we'll go from there. All right, hang tight, guys. Okay, guys, it's a couple days later. Personal stuff crept up again here. Okay, so I never even got these things split in half and glued up and everything. That's what we're gonna start tackling today. It's always the thing with me of how much I'm trying to teach you guys things. It's just how far to go into things. Okay, so I wasn't gonna do this, but what I'm gonna do is showing you how, instead of laying out on a full sheet of or a full piece of wood, we're gonna cut it and make the grain go the right way. Okay, so thinking of that the last couple days, probably should have just gone the full piece, but I had already cut these to width already, so we're not gonna be able to do that. And the reason I probably should have showed you that way, it would be way easier. Okay, it's gonna be way easier to lay out. It'll be just like a layout. We'll have the straight edge on the bottom that we could just go from. This way, I'll have to show you how to lay out. It's gonna be much more difficult to lay out. Okay, it's a little, it's not a big deal for me. I'll show you how we do it though. Okay, so like I said, making some decisions as we're going. Like I said, do this off the cuff all the time. So I decided what I'm gonna do. I gotta start showing you guys how to do things. So what we'll try to do is, I'll try to I'm gonna try to keep the videos around 40-45 minutes, around there. So what I'll try to do, I'll just film as much, and I'll just have Joe break them up. All right, so that's the way we'll do it. Okay, so what getting back the other day, what we have to do, we got to make some 3/8 thick pieces of wood. Okay, so this is 1 inch, so we got to split this in half. Okay, because a lot of times, like I said, most lumber companies, the smallest thickness you're going to get is 4/4, which is 1 inch. Okay, so in order to get 3/8, I don't want to stick this through the thickness planer and plane off 5/8 of 1 inch to get to my 3/8. That would be the biggest waste. Okay, and we want to conserve wood. All right, so what we can do with this, we can split it in half. Okay, so there's a couple ways to go about it. If you have a real nice sharp blade in your bandsaw, you could scribe a line on both sides and just go over that. We'll do a chalk talk on cutting wood one day. Okay, so in the grain configurations, so when we're cutting, if we're just cutting like a little piece off widthwise, it's not that big. I'm only cutting 1 inch deep in that, but when I flip this up to cut it, it's straining the bandsaw. And I tell you one thing, you probably wouldn't be able to cut this whole thing on like a little 12-inch grizzly bandsaw or something. It would struggle. It doesn't have enough horsepower. Okay, so what you can do, there's a couple tricks you can do, and we'll show you. What you can do is you set the saw, table saw, which I'll flip you guys around in a second, and I'll show you what that is. And what you usually do is you put the blade up as much as you can, and you run the board through, flip it, and run it through again. And usually you end up with a little bit of a part that you got to cut on the bandsaw. And that's cool for numerous different ways, because all you got to do is follow your saw cut on a bandsaw. You don't have to scribe lines, all that stuff. I got 2 pieces I'm going to split. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I'm thinking, it looks like I'll be able to just cut these in half on the table saw, which is preferable because it's way easier. It's got the horsepower, it's got the blade. You're going to waste a little bit more wood, but as far as that goes, we're good with that. Okay, so I'll show you both ways if we can do it. I'll flip you around right now, show you the table saw, so hang tight, guys. Okay guys, we're over here on the table saw. You probably can't see my mark. I made a mark halfway here, and ran the blade up as far as I can go. I think we're as far as we can go here. Nope, got a little bit more. Okay, and then what you do is I set my fence here where my mark is. All right, so I'm gonna run this through one way, and then I'm gonna flip it 180 degrees and run it through the other way. And like I said, I should be able to cut all the way through on the table saw and get 2 pieces. But what I'll do is I'll show you on the other piece what I was talking about when you get things wider where you can't do it on the table saw. Okay, so hang tight. Couple tiny things on the table saw. I always drop the blade down as soon as I'm done. That way it's out of the way, okay? So let me pick you up here. Okay, so we're gonna get into let's pretend mode. Let's pretend that this, excuse me, this is bad. Actually, this is a piece of African mahogany. It actually has a, it's got like a cedar aroma to it. It's getting in my sinuses here, so. So we're going to pretend, say that this was a wider board and we couldn't cut all the way through, right? So you're going to end up with a piece like this, all right? So you can see how much easier it's going to be. All I got to do is follow these saw lines here on the bandsaw, and I'm only cutting like an inch there instead of this whole 5-inch pieces, all right? So that's a shortcut you can do. And like I said, if I can do it on a table saw, which I did the first piece, you know, I'd rather do that. But I'm done with that. I could be done with this, but I want to show you what we're going to do with this. All right, so hang tight. I'll take you over by the bandsaw. Okay, guys, over here on the bandsaw, I'm going to show you how to split this in half. Real easy. Just going to run it through. Probably told you this before. Make a little block. Nice right angle block. It's made out of wood. Okay, and I want to use this to keep this perpendicular, perpendicular, okay? So, or actually it should be parallel, not perpendicular to the table, parallel to the blade, okay? Important thing with this is make sure that your bandsaw blade is fairly sharp. If you got a real dull blade on here, it's not going to work, alright? You're just going to be going all over the place. You can have a tendency to break them when they're older, plus, you know, you don't want to cut yourself, definitely. And I'm going to reiterate again, and I should have done it over on a table saw. If you're seeing me doing something you feel uncomfortable doing, don't do it the way I'm doing it, okay? Figure out a good way that's comfortable for you, okay? Go, 2 pieces. Now we're going to run these through the thickness planer. Okay guys, got done with the thickness planer. We'll do that one of these days too. That one's not like a real big deal too. A lot of guys don't have them anyhow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where I got to cut these things. I got to cut some 45s, and then we're going to glue them up so that we can get the basic shape of the pattern we're working on, alright? So what I'll do with that, like I said, you know how to use a bandsaw layout. I'll just show you the finished product of that one. And like I said too, I had to leave these things a little thicker also. I left about a 30-second thicker. That way I could take them over and run them underneath the drill press, underneath the sander pad, okay? So that we're going to make sure it's perfectly parallel, okay? Because this, like I said, this one's for a customer and it's got to be accurate, alright? So, like I said, we always want to do things the best way we can. You know, but there are times where I'm doing something for myself, I'll take a little shortcut here and there, okay? So this one, no shortcuts on this one. And just hang tight, we'll get back to you with the next step. Okay guys, we're here at my layout table. Like I said, machine guys will kill me for doing this, but this is, I had this given to me, this is what this was given to me for, to do this, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these up, alright, and like I said, you'll get used to how much glue you got to put on everything, alright? Just put a bead of glue on your seam here. And then, okay, now what you got to do, like I say, you got what's called ring ring these together. Okay, so this is ringing together. All right, just rub it back and forth, squish it, and that's ringing. Okay, so there's one half. I got this piece here, or these pieces here. We're gonna glue up another half too. Okay, so in doing this, here's a couple things you could do. Like I say, a lot of people can't go out and just buy one of these tables. This one was given to me. Like I said, I got lucky. Use a piece of melamine, 3/4 melamine. They're usually really flat, plus they're plastic coated too, so you can knock these things right off. It's real nice, right? So you can do that. Couple things you could do too. I'm not gonna do this. I know these are real flat already. All right, so I'm not gonna worry too much. And then they're not to thickness yet, so I gotta take them down to thickness a little bit. All right. So you could clamp, you know, put a clamp on each end. The only thing is it's going to be up off and you're going to sag. So I'm going to leave these here. I could get some weights, put them on here, but it's really not going to help to bring these together. The other thing I could do is I could use the pinch dogs, pinch these together. But like I said, we got to put ribs, bosses on these things and that. So doing it this way, it should be fairly good, and then we're going to glue other things to it. So I don't feel the need to, plus then we're going to mount this to a sheet of plywood. So this will be good gluing this up this way. Okay. Okay, so there's that step done. I'm going to let these sit for probably a good 4 hours, and what I'll do in between, I'm going to start making ribs and bosses and just keep this thing going, okay? Just because you're done with this one spot doesn't mean you should stop and you know, you want to work efficiently, keep things going. I got this going, plus I got a little production machine job I'm working on too, so I'm going to be working on both at the same time, all right? So I'll catch you guys in a bit. Okay guys, I got both of these glued up, all right? What I did first, there's a little bead of glue on each surface here, so I took a chisel and scraped those off. Okay, bead or chisel, don't use your good chisels for that. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I got to surface them. If you remember when I stuck them through the thickness planer, I left them a 30-second proud, or you know, full or proud. It's two different terms you use for that. Okay, and that was because I knew when I glued them together that we're going to have a little bit of variation in there, okay? So we're going to rub them on here, and this is where I'm saying this is the way you got to do this. I mean, you can't stick this through the thickness planer, okay? Because you got, you know, the grain's going the wrong way this way and here, and it'll just rip this all up, especially this thing. You might get one like a thicker one, you might be able to jam it through the planer, okay, but it'll probably tear it up a little bit too. So anyhow, you just do this, you know, back and forth like I've showed you before. And then you flip it a few times, okay, and then it'll kind of like even itself out, right? And then you use, don't move this when you get down to the final thickness, and then you just run both of them there, and then that's going to make it so that they're both exactly the same thickness, okay, and that's exactly what we want. All right, so I'm going to finish this up here, and then I'm going to start laying these out and show you where I'm going to go with that, right? Okay guys, I got both of them done. Start showing you how to lay things out, okay? Be with you in a minute. Okay guys, we're getting ready to lay this out, alright? So, a couple things before we start laying this thing out. Like I said, this is going to be the more difficult way to lay it out. It would have been easier if I would have just had the full sheet. You know, that way we had a straight edge. I have no straight edge to go by. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a center line from here, okay, and then from that center line I can get my say, let's just say it's the horizontal center line, I can get my vertical center lines from there. All right, and what we'll do is we'll just use a regular flat square, and I'll show you that in a minute. All right, I'll get you closer up here. But what we're gonna have to do is, when you lay these out, unless it's on the drawing or your customer specifies, you lay things out on the top and then add draft, okay? I only work for, been in 5 different shops. I've only worked for one shop where the one customer that they worked for, they wanted the draft in the middle, and that was a pain in the ass. It really was. So just always add draft. So what we're gonna have to do, don't forget when we're laying this out, we're gonna have to lay the marks that we make. We're gonna have to make sure that there's a good 1/8 of an inch on either side of it for when we start sanding the draft on there, okay? And then what the other thing we're gonna do is I'm only gonna lay 1/2 of this out. We'll lay the 1/2 out, then we'll drill our pins for the locating pins on this, okay? I'm gonna wait to do that. That way I know where, you know, we'll lay it out first. That way I know where we're gonna drill our holes for the pins. Okay, we'll pin it together, then we'll sand the 1/2 out that we lay out first, and then we'll just trace out on the other half, and we'll go from there. You know, we'll sand that other side. So if I lay both of these out, it's going to be kind of difficult because you're laying one side out the way the layout is, and the other one you got to remember to do it in reverse. Plus, there's virtually no way. I've been doing this for 40 years, and it would be hard for me to lay both halves out, put it together, and then match. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure, you know, you lay the one side out, and then you can get the second side from the first one that you lay out. You know, and then you don't want to have to lay it out twice too, you know. So I'll get you up here close. I'll still show you where we're going to start getting going, all right? So hang tight. Okay, guys. If you can see, this is going to be hard for me without a camera guy here. So I got the layout, okay, castings over there, so I'm going off of both, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out with this center line here, all right? I don't have it going all the way through here, but what we'll do is we'll put this center line across here, all right? And then we'll get this center line here and this center line here on here using that square, okay? And you can make these. This one my dad made out of a piece of stainless steel, just real thin stock there. If you can find that, that's great. If not, I've made them out of aluminum. You can make them out of regular steel and that also. So that's where we're going to get started, okay? We're going to, like I said, we're going to start out here with this center. I'm just going to put it all the way across in there. We can work from there. All right, so the other thing we can do, and I'll show you this as we're going along too. All right, so this is on an angle here. So how we can alleviate not having to put a protractor on this, what we can do is measure from here, measure this center over, down. We can strike both circles and then they're tangent to there, okay? So that's how we're gonna do this one, okay? You know, same thing with all these. We got points on here that we could just measure, and then with that, what's gonna happen is we'll work off the drawing also. I'll do it from the drawing, but then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure off my layout too, so that it'll double check. I can double check myself, okay? So yeah, sit tight and I'll show you how we're gonna get going with this. All right, here's one of the things too, like I said, okay, so we got the center line over, get rid of that one. Okay, so we're looking at around 1/2 inch there, okay? So I don't wanna put it exactly a 1/2 inch from this edge because I gotta add some draft on here, like I said. So I'm gonna put it in like 3/4 of an inch along there and then do that, okay? Hang tight. All right, so I'm gonna make a couple, like I said, this is a 1/2 inch here, so I'm gonna go 3/4. All right, I'll put a mark 3/4. You know, always use your knife, okay? like I said, get your marking pencil. Alright, I'm going to flip this around so I got a little bit more meat. I'm not hanging this ruler off the edge. Okay, so we got this, and I got my first straight edge. So I'll show you this as we go along. There's so much you can do layout wise with just dividers. Like, just, you know, you get your first straight line, and then I can actually, just by using a pair of dividers, I can get the square lines down from a pair of dividers. I'm not going to be able to do it on this one. I will show you how to do that eventually. That's, you know, a real important thing that we do, you know, and I actually craft up right off the bat too. Dummy me. See, this is why you got to keep your mind on things. Okay, I'm just going to start using this other one so I don't get mixed up there. Instead of from the edge over, I got to go from this this boss here. So the boss over, it's 1.25 inches, so we'll come 1.5 inches down. I thought something was looking kind of funny. I just gotta, like I said, you gotta keep your mind on what you're doing here. I could have cramped up pretty big there. So, all right, 1.5 inches. That'll be a little bit better. Okay. All right. So my first center line, we were 1.25 inches again. So I want to come in probably like 1.5 inches. All right. And we'll put like 1.5 inches. You know, it's not that huge of a deal. All right. So we can do that. And then just use your flat square. And if you're a little bit off as far like on the 1.5 inch mark, no big deal. But you got to make sure that you're on your line though. Okay. And then there you go. Square line number 1. I got to extend it up here. A couple ways you could have done that. I could have actually put this ruler all the way next to it and just took the square away. See if we can do that on this one. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. The drawing says here from this center to the center here. Oh, actually it's not to the center, it's to the edge. Is 11 7/16. Okay, and I don't like when they do that. They should go center to center, and there is a center here, so they should have done center to center, but they didn't do that. So we'll just measure this for now, and then we'll double check it on the layout. Okay, so 11 7/16 over. So 11 7/16. All right. Put your mark, and hopefully you guys are still in frame. Okay, here, we can do this way. All right, so I want to take this past here. All right, so I get my, actually let's do it this way since I'm right-handed. All right, no, I'm not going to be able to do it that way. All right, we'll do it this way. All right, now this one you have to be on that 11 7/16, okay? It's got to be where it's at. All right, so I got my. All right, now you can butt your ruler up against there and make sure you hang on to it. You know what you can do too, if you're not really good with holding these, you can put little thumb clamps on these too. All right, so this is the edge that I got here. Okay, so down here I've got this radius here. It's a 2.5 inch diameter, so diameter, I need to get a radius with my dividers. So half of that will be 1.25 inches, 2.5 inches. Okay, but here's the thing. I'm going to lay this out here, but that boss is like 1.5 inches high. So it's actually going to be a little bit bigger. All right, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make that boss and measure the bottom size to see exactly where I'm at here. Alright, so let's just go ahead and we'll move this over. We'll get our centers and then we'll glue our bosses on and then do the tangents. What I'll probably do is, I tell you what, let me, we'll put this one more line on and then what I'll do is we'll cut this one short, and then I'll do all the bosses up and that and all everything, and then we'll do a segment on building this. Okay. So all you got to do for, we'll do this one last thing, and this is actually, I don't think this one's on the drawing here. Yes, it is, 1/16. So 1/16 over from here. All right. Put one line here. Put one line here, and then we'll connect the dots. Okay, and then you don't have to do it all the way because you're only going to be your center's down here. Don't want to put too many lines on there and you get all confused, right? So then from the center up here down to the center down here, according to the drawing, is 5 9/16. So get you your 5 9/16 there. Put your line. And I don't have to make that big because we're just going to spin a radius on it. Okay, so I got my 2 centers. We'll build a couple bosses and then we'll just connect the dots. All right, and then I'll show you how to lay out the rest. Let me hang tight here, guys. Okay, guys, I'm going to cut it short here today. It's Thanksgiving tomorrow, so I got to get some cooking started. And then I'll get the camera up to Joe. Hopefully he'll get this thing out tonight. If not, in the next day or two, we'll get it out to you. So we'll show you how to finish building this. We'll build this thing and finish it and everything. And then I've got 2 more to go. All right. And we'll show you the one I think I said in the beginning. We're going to make a master, make a plastic mold off of that. So that's going to be cool. We guys finally got some stuff going in here. I'll start showing you how to do some stuff. Hopefully make this a little more interesting. Just got an order for a bunch of those Y pipes. I don't know if I said that before. So we're going to have to get going on those things, and I'm going to drill the holes in them too. So I'll show you how I go about doing those things. I got to make a little fixture. I'll show you how to make a little drill fixture and that, and show you how to do the little production work. So things are starting to ramp up for me a little bit. Unfortunately, I got a lot of personal stuff going on with my life right now too. So Mom and Dad are getting old, and they bought those properties. I'm still dealing with a lot of that stuff. I'm doing a lot of stuff with my mom and dad. My mom can't drive anymore. They live 40 minutes away, so I gotta go, take them out here and there and that. So, but anyhow, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow, so everybody have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll get back to this. We'll get up to the Foundry Sunday, hopefully, and just everybody have a good Thanksgiving, all right? And everybody stay safe.